May 19th, 2021 meeting of the Norfolk County Commissioners to order. This meeting is being held under the executive order on remote participation. On Thursday, March 12, 2020, Governor Baker issued an order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20. That order was effective immediately and until it is rescinded or the state of emergency is terminated. This meeting is called to order. I'm going to take a roll. Commissioner Collins.
You have two counselors here. Have to be.
Yeah,
have to be
actually, we
That's
are
true.
councilors. We are, that's right.
That's correct. I'm sorry. I'm hacking back to my Quincy days. Commissioner Stady
I'm present.
and Commissioner Shea is present. We have a full quorum. Number 3, minutes of the open meeting held on March 12th, 2021 for approval.
I'd move approval, Mr. Chairman, of the meeting minutes of May 12th.
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor? It is
Aye.
unanimous.
Uh,
Number 4, minutes of the
Just
open
wanna remind you
session
that
meeting
one
of May 13th.
I'm putting out pickup newsletters.
Is there a problem? I hear someone talking. Nope.
Okay.
I'll move approval of May
The newsletters
13th.
Tomorrow morning. Okay.
Second.
All in favor? Aye, it is unanimous.
Aye.
Number 6, public comment. Do we have anyone write in, Michelle or Bill, or call in?
Not that I know of.
Okay, we'll move to number 7. We have an appointment at 1:15 with the Abrahams Group. We'll make that. Number 8 is old business.
Oh, wait, Chairman, number
Yes.
6, did we hear from John McGowan?
Not yet.
Oh, yeah, number 6.
I'm sorry, I went by John. I'm sorry.
I thought you.
Well, I wasn't gonna say anything.
That's all right.
Number
I thought-
6. Facilities.
Good
Good
afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon, John.
Hey,
Sorry.
John.
I'm glad to report again, there's no COVID-19 problems that we have. And that's a good sign.
Yep.
Hopefully it continues. On the capital improvement report, the only thing we have going right now is Stoughton, which we have some problems down there with the installation that we're gonna have it if we don't change the pads that are there. I'm glad that we decided to have the guy get down there ahead of time and remove them to expose the problems that have to be corrected. I don't know all the problems that are down there because I know that they emailed Nancy and the engineer, Mark Tocci, I think his name is. They'd be able to explain. Maybe Nancy has the email. Maybe she can explain more about what needs to be done down there. But I know there's a problem, and I know the contractor is going to give us a price on fixing it. Getting it ready for the new unit, which I haven't heard about that. I think it's still a few weeks away. But that's all I can tell you about what's going on down there. But I know I'm on top of it anyway. I'll find out all the particulars. But I know there is a problem because when they originally put that in, they put it in wrong, and he had to spin the unit around. And when he spun the unit around, he had to put an extension on. In other words, the intake is not lining up with the unit, because when you turn it, the unit now is on the 180 degrees away from where it was. So that he had to make an adapter to go into it, which it is not the right way to do it. It's supposed to go straight down into the ductwork. So that means they have to move the ductwork, they have to move the pad, and it's going to be involved. And hopefully, I'm very glad that we found it, because we have plenty of time to fix it. So when the new unit comes in, you can just put it right in there, and it'll be a lot better, and it'll run a lot better. But like I said, I wasn't emailed the questions, but I will find out what's going on with it. if you don't find out from Nancy or the engineer. That's about all I have right now.
Okay.
If you have any
Thank you.
questions, I'll try to answer them.
Oh, Mr.
Commissioner
Chairman?
Collins?
Yeah, oh,
Uh,
sorry.
Yeah, nice job, John. Thank you.
Commissioner Stady?
Yeah, really quick, through you, Mr. Chairman, to John. So essentially, it was installed the wrong way, even though it worked. So make me understand, you're gonna take care of the responsibility of fixing it though, right? This won't be subbed out. Your crew will take care of it, our maintenance department?
No, Commissioner, no. They have a contractor that's gonna install the new units. He's the guy that's gonna take care of it.
So
He's
will
gonna
it be,
give us a price on fixing it.
okay, that's,
I believe that he's been down there, he's measured everything, and he's preparing a quote to fix everything. But it
okay,
has to be done, because you can't put it in the way it is. I mean, it has to be done right. If we're gonna do it, we gotta do it right, not the way it was done
all right,
the first time by DCAM and the low bidder.
all right. As soon as you get a number, let us know, that's all. So it's gonna be
I-
extra. Okay,
I'm sure that, oh yeah, there'll be definitely an extra, but I'm sure Nancy will probably get the bid.
okay,
And Mark, was it Crossfield Engineering, I think, is in charge of running the engineer is running that project.
interesting. All right.
And he should be more involved in it by the time next Wednesday comes around. He should have some answers for you.
All right, thank you, sir, thank you.
All right.
Okay. Anything else for John? We're gonna move on to the next item, which is old business. Do we have any old business? Okay.
Oh, I have.
Okay, next, we have 8 personnel matters, all at the agricultural school. I think we can handle those before 1:15.
Let's see, are they all, let's see. How
Your
about if
fault.
we do, I'll move the notice of a contingent employment for Maria Ferrera, Walpole, Allison Ramos, Chambers of Franklin, and Leah Gray of Whitman, Mass, as stated in the memo to us dated this date. Their effective dates are all 5/20/21.
Do
Second.
we have a second to that?
Yeah, second.
All in favor? Aye,
Aye.
the first 3 are unanimous. The
Right.
next one's a notice of a resignation
Okay,
of a
so,
custodian.
right, notice of resignation, I'll move the notice of resignation of Caitlin Bankowski of Plainville, effective 5/27/21.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye, it's unanimous. Retirement of Diane Broder of Dayton, Mass. as an instructor.
All right. Do you want to do all of them, Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman?
do all of them.
Okay, one is very notable.
Oh, yes, 4
That's
retirements.
But we'll take them all together. Notice
Okay,
of
great.
retirement for Diane Sirkin Brogier of Dayton, Mass. Notice of retirement of Eileen Cesarsclis. I hope I have not hurt that too much, of Rentham, Mass. And notice of retirement of Ann Govey of Mansfield, Mass. And notice of retirement for our superintendent, Tammy T. Quinn of Walpole as superintendent. All stated for their positions as outlined. One is a school nurse, 2 are instructors, 1 is superintendent, for the rates listed, and all effective 6/30/21. So moved.
Do we
Second.
have a second on these retirements?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It is unanimous. I'm sure we'll have more to say about the retirement of Tammy Quinn before June 30th. How about number 10, payroll and expense warrants for approval?
All right. Warrant list of 519. Mr. Chairman, I've moved the following. Payroll county 21-46 in the amount of $136,481.42. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It is
Aye.
unanimous.
Second, I'll move payroll school of 21-46, parentheses 23.1, in the amount of $31,126.30.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It is unanimous.
Third warrant, I'll move the payroll school warrant 21-46, $327,110.57.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is unanimous.
I'd move
Thank you.
expense. Yes, sir.
One more?
Two more, yeah, yes.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm
Along with
sorry.
it, okay, I got it, if you want. Expense warrant of the county dated 5/3/21 in the amount of $62,300.84.
Second.
All in favor? Aye,
Aye.
unanimous.
All right, last one, Mr. Chairman, I'll move the warrant for the school expense warrant 21-11 in the amount of $515,720.31. So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye,
Aye.
That will
that
take
is
care of the one.
unanimous. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Number 11, I noticed that Mark Abraham is on with us. This is a brief financial review and update scheduled for 1:15. Mark, if you can hear us, I can see you somewhere here. Yes.
Hello, Commissioners.
Good afternoon,
Aye,
Mark.
Mark.
Good afternoon, a beautiful afternoon out there.
Yes. Yeah.
Got some in the background. So I've been asked to give you a very brief update. As you know, we have a 5-pronged project underway. So let me just briefly talk about each step. Best practices, benchmarking is proceeding. We have a number of Infinite Visions training going on as we speak. It's been going on for the past couple of weeks. The intent there is to provide greater use of the Infinite Visions software, which is one of the management letter findings, the underutilization of that software. In addition, I'm pleased to say we have a draft of the financial policies going through internal review, both at Treasury and in the administration. The financial policies is the second, addressing the management letter comments, specifically that the county does not have financial policies. So I'm pleased to report that. The capital plan, the program, and the budget has been presented to you before. We've discussed that several points, been presented to the advisory committee, presented to the finance committee. There's been some amendments suggested by the finance committee, and we will take those amendments when they're approved. The financial forecast is proceeding as well. The baseline has been solidified, and now we're working on the actual projections. Regional services, the questionnaires and the letters have been issued to the 28 member communities. We're in the response period. We gave them 2 weeks to respond. So once those are received, we will compile them and begin our report on regional services. We're also going to have a forum with the town managers and their staff on the regional services. Lastly, on the operational review, we're about 80% complete with the Aggie. We've begun the interview process on the county. I interviewed Commissioner Collins yesterday. I'm waiting for Commissioner Stady to get back to me, and I've already interviewed Commissioner Shea. Remember, we are looking at IT, we're looking at facilities with the potential consolidation of those between several components of the county. And as I said, we've begun the interview process on the county side. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I'll turn it back to you.
Okay, any questions, commissioners, of Mark Abraham? I'd just like to give these brief updates and, we're moving forward, so.
I should also say that on the financial policies, once I get feedback from the internal review, I'll be reviewing those with the finance committee. I'm speaking with Dr. Childs this Friday on that and other issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. You're doing a nice job.
Thank
Mark,
you, Commissioner.
I had a particularly hectic week for a couple of things going on. So I didn't ignore your email. I'll get back to you tomorrow and set up a time to talk, okay?
I appreciate that, sir.
Okay, thank you, Mark.
Thank you, commissioners.
We're in constant communication with Mark, and we're, anything new and innovative, we'll send it right over to him and have him look at it. Okay, I'm gonna jump around a bit here. We have a 1:30 rebid opening, but we can go into number 13. We have no contract award today. Number 14, report on the American Rescue Plan, briefly from Assistant Director Buckley.
Mr. Chairman, through you, thank you, just sitting here collating papers for tonight, very exciting. We did have a productive meeting with our sister counties of Bristol and Plymouth on Monday. The center of this discussion was really about probably the desire to move as a unit for the large counties in Massachusetts. We have, through our other discussions, heard from Barnstable and Dukes County, which are taking the money and using it solely for regional projects, but they have a lot of regional buy-in for those projects and infrastructure to do so. As far as the meeting on Monday, I think we continue to raise questions that we don't have answers for. We continue to seek guidance from the state. We hope to have more to report soon. About an hour and a half ago, I did meet with the municipal managers, a large contingent of them, and their message was pretty clear. They are respectfully seeking a statement from the county commissioners about their plans and how much of the money they plan to give to the cities and towns. I know we've received some letters and resolutions from a number of counties, I think Stoughton, Canton, and others. I think about 6 or 8 of the towns said they are holding on to their resolutions with the hope of hearing from the commissioners about overarchingly what the percentage is, what the piece that's going to cities and towns is going to be. And we had a member from Franklin especially said, I think that felt that this is a great opportunity for both kind of sections of local government to work collaboratively together, and really didn't want to get into sort of a wider public dialogue and back and forth on that. The only other thing I would note was a couple of the towns mentioned the frustration that, say, Natick in Middlesex County, which also has a registry of deeds they go to and also has courts they go to, may be getting a much larger share of the funds than the towns of Norfolk County. Again, speaking to their desire to hear sort of a meaningful statement about allocation, percentages, sort of pieces of the pie moving forward. I think none of them were particularly opposed to the county looking at it, and I informed them of the sort of internal, not soul searching, but sort of auditing we are doing of ourselves about what could we use this for internally. I think no one on that call was opposed to that, but they gave a pretty strong message of a desire to hear from us very soon about what our plans are going forward and how much of that money they can expect at the local level. They obviously vociferously advocated that if we took the money and did not give it to the state, that we only looked at giving money to other subdivisions of the Commonwealth and not sort of some of the other things that the bill allows and finds permissible, like small businesses and the like. So that was my update. That was the conversation an hour ago. It was a respectful one and a passionate one. That's all I have for you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Bill. Commissioners, any questions of Bill or anyone around the rescue plan?
Yeah, I have a little bit of like that on this, Joe. So just to kind of sum up what we've been talking about, there's a choice that we're going to face. And the choice is whether we give the money to the state to disperse and we don't know what percentage the state's going to keep for administration. Or we keep the money at the county level, and we disperse it to our cities and towns. And in talking to Bill, Bill gave a very measured presentation just a moment ago, but my understanding is that some of the cities and towns are getting pretty hot to trot about, you know, their money and when they're going to get it and how much of that money are they going to get. And they're asking for a response in writing from the county. They want to know. And I know that we don't know yet whether we're going to keep it or we're not going to keep it. We're still waiting to find out that information from the state, and we're trying to coordinate it with Bristol and Plymouth. We're trying to work together and move together as one, if possible. But I don't see any problem. I personally don't have a problem. It's up for discussion, but I don't have a problem with sending a letter to our cities and towns saying that if we choose not to have the state distribute the funds, if we choose to distribute the funds, that a preponderance of the funds would go to our constituent cities and towns. And that might kind of ease them a little bit, because most of the money, as far as I can see it, we can't use it for that much. If I don't know what we can use it for, that's a big question. But I think most of it's just going to pass right through to the cities and towns. And if we give them something like that, that'd be great. I would stay away from any specific percentage, because we don't know what amount of money we could use for ourselves. I can't imagine it's that much, but there might be something in there. And we also don't know what the administration fee would be, because it's going to cost us money to administer it.
Correct.
So I would stay away from percentages, but I don't have a problem personally with saying that a preponderance of the money, if we were to distribute it, would go to our constituent cities and towns. What are your thoughts on that, Dick? I don't know.
No, I think, not to be redundant, I think I said about a couple of weeks ago, we should get ahead of this. So Peter, I endorse your idea. We really should get ahead of it and send out a letter. I know that Billy is doing a very good job, Bill, and thank you for your report. I know you're on top of it. You're attending meetings and you're communicating with your network, but I think nothing helps better than a simple letter from the commissioner's office that would outline more or less what you're saying. I would add respectfully that I agree. Most of the money will go to the cities and towns. We will, if we keep it, have to administer it. And I think they understand that, but I also would be careful in saying we're also going to attend to our own needs, whatever they may be. I think broadband has been brought up as a legitimate thing we need to improve on, both at the Aggie School, both in our courts, according to DA Morrissey, and even throughout the county. So we have a legitimate thing there. And I'll tell you truthfully too, Peter, I only had one conversation, and that was with my hometown, with the selectmen and with the office, because they were hot to trot. They were the ones who sent the letter and a resolution, but they've calmed down, and I assured them that we're waiting for the regulations. They will get a preponderance of the money, but we have our own needs, and they endorse that. They understand that. I think most towns, they're just kind of in that worrisome state, like you said. They're kind of getting antsy about what's happening, and they're getting hit by different people within their own town. You've got the CFO of a town saying, where's the money? You got your director getting pressure, the elected officials getting pressure. It's a conglomeration of people. So number one, Mr. Chairman, yes, I think a letter should be sent out. I do. I think it'd be great if we could draft something for review and have it ready, as soon as possible. I would put in that if we keep it, as Peter said, yes, we're going to have to administer the costs, and there may be our own important needs as well, which is legitimate. Otherwise, they're going to get the money. And that's all. I think anything like that is fine with me. I support it 100%. I'm with you.
Okay. I have never had a doubt that we're going to pass the lion's share of this money to the cities and towns. But as recently as Monday, in our conversations with other counties, and the rules, as you know, aren't out yet. If it passes through us, we're responsible to administer it, and we're even responsible I'm told, but not by Uncle Sam yet, so I can, hopefully wait, and I hope it comes tomorrow, but who knows, that we'd have to do the administration for the projects in the towns. And that was a new curve to me. It didn't come from the US Treasury. It just came from knowledgeable people in the field, but that was a new one on me. I do realize that if you take it back, send it back to the state, based on what happened with the CARES Act, that there's so much comes right off the top and doesn't get passed on for administration. But I would love to get a letter tomorrow addressed to Norfolk County that says you can do this, this, and this. You can't do da, 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 da. And we'd have our meeting to accept. We haven't got a date yet. And Treasurer Bellotti was at our meeting Monday. And then go, because I'm not unhappy to go on record to saying that my word is lion's share, but whatever, all we can send to cities and towns. And I will work on that this week.
Is there an option, Mr. Chairman? I heard, maybe I was speaking to Billy, and Billy, you can affirm this, that one option might be the state may be amenable to taking the money and then cutting back to us a project that we might need again, say broadband. Is that something you have heard? Like, if we give all the money, can we get an assurance that we're going to get something back for our own needs? Have you
Through
heard
Mr.
that?
Chairman,
Mhm.
as the statute is written now, that is not permissible. And I think that's part of the dialogue
Correct.
that we're having with the Treasury, saying, listen, everyone's telling us Massachusetts counties are different than regular counties. We accept that. If we are different, then allow us to operate differently. Allow us to get, if you say we're stripped down, we're a bare bones organization, we accept that. Then allow us to give it to the state and allow the state to in turn give us a portion of those monies. And I think it's important to note that the state really hasn't concretely articulated what the number is for the cities and towns in the abolished counties, because the non-entitlement entity guidelines have not come out yet. And I think that's an important piece too. I think the state is reluctant to put something in writing to us about what they will do, because they're still trying to figure out what they're going to do for the dead counties. And but you're right. I think a statement from the commissioners that's very clear about the preponderance of the money going to the cities and towns will be will help calm nerves. And that's what they said. They said we just want to make sure that we're don't go out and build a $50 million addition to the golf course clubhouse. Don't do that. But I think that's what they're looking for, and the managers are hearing from their own boards. And I think the quicker we can, and I think that's after we get out of the budget tonight, I'm really going to take a deep dive of what do we think, what's our best guess, our best, what is our best sort of, what is our best expert lensed view of what we could actually use. And when we talk about broadband, the more I look into broadband, I don't think that the Wi-Fi issues can be covered by broadband, but they may be covered under another category. So just looking at everything that we have and looking at the best case of how to make the case for our needs within a given category, and then sit back and say, well, what's the number? What's the max number? Is it a $3 million number? And then that too could give sort of some greater clarity to the towns. I think they're not looking to, this isn't shovel ready like the one of the last stimuluses in a previous administration. They're just looking for that assurance that they all pretty much know what they want to do with the funds. And finally, I think importantly, from what we heard from Plymouth County, they urged us to really modify the scope of what we would do, an offer to do with the money, so that we would say perhaps no. Plymouth County is thinking about they're going to do revenue replacement and they're going to do infrastructure projects, and that's it. They will not entertain, if they move in that direction, they will not entertain premium pay. They will not entertain some of the other avenues, and that's permissible. You can run a program and say this is, and one of the benefits of that is Chapter 30 in the general laws, which oversees the procurement. There's a lot of strictures there, and there's a lot of protection there. So a project it's difficult for that type of project to go off the rails because there's so much state reporting involved and there's so much state oversight. So that was one of the things they were looking at because it was the most easy to control. So those are the type of discussions I think we're going to have in the next couple of weeks. I hope to begin compiling, ideally by the next commission meeting, an idea of what we could possibly utilize these funds for. So we start to speak in more specifics and less generalities.
Well, okay, I mean, thank you, Billy, thank you. Always on top of it. Yeah, I still don't see the harm in sending out some kind of a letter to the cities and towns, even if we make it a general letter without too many specifics, but just say, look, we hear you, we know you're nervous, we're acting on it, and we're doing the best we can, and hopefully we'll have a resolve. Maybe something like that, and then we can, to follow up what Peter said,
Excellent. Very good.
can't hurt.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll try to have the draft of that ready. It is now 1:30 and we have a bid opening scheduled for 1:30. So I'm gonna step aside, but I'll be right here with Nancy Rockwell, our procurement agent. And this is the 1:30 meeting on the Norfolk County Superior Court Dome.
Don't.
This is a rebid, so Nancy, you want to sit right here and I'll sit there?
Oh, I think we could just slide that right down.
Okay. Go ahead. I'll switch.
Okay, well,
I don't think someone's listening.
hello, we have the general bid opening for the elastro metal coating and repair to the Superior Courthouse Dome rebid. First bid I have is the Olson Company out of Methuen, Massachusetts. They have bid forward contract price is $1,097,800 with an add-on of alternate one, if we so choose, for $280,358. Their bid appears to be inclusive of all items asked for. Paul J. Rogan Company out of Braintree, Mass. They have bid $1,733,620. Alternate one, add $400,000. All documents seem to be included. Third, we have from Calhess Corporation out of Westwood, Mass. They've bid $1,197,000. Alternate one, add $255,000. That's all.
Okay, you've heard the three bids for our work that we've discussed quite a bit, and we're anxious to get going, but we need to do our due diligence. This again is the repair work to the Norfolk County Superior Court building, a jewel of downtown Dedham. I'd like a motion to take this under advisement, and then Nancy will do her due diligence and report back to us as soon as possible.
I'd move that we take the bid openings or open this afternoon in our meeting relating to the Norfolk County Superior Court Dome under advisement, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Let's jump to number 16. I think it's the next item anyway. We can go back to 15. Discussion of the Norfolk County Director's candidate interviews and hopefully a vote to appoint a director. I'm going to open this up to the candidate, to the commissioners. As you know, last Thursday we had for several hours 3 interviews with the three finalists, which were brought to us from Community Paradigm, and the interviews were in depth. They were very, very interesting, and I think it was eye-opening, and I think we were well served by Bernie Lynch and his group, because I felt we have came up with three very good candidates at the end, and everyone's different, but it was assuring to me that there are capable people out there that are interested in coming to our county as a county director. So I'm going to open it up with a hope to bring it to a head today, but it's up to the commissioners. Bernie is on with us if we have any questions for him. And then if we choose someone today, I'm going to have Michelle and Bernie, if you agree, commissioners, make an offer, and then we'll go from there and get back to us whenever we reach some sort of agreement. So I'm going to open it up for any discussion at all among the commissioners, or questions for Bernie or Michelle.
Yeah, Joe, I'll jump in. I thought it was a great meeting. Bernie, you did a swell job. You really did putting together those three individuals.
Thank you.
I liked all three candidates. There was one candidate that stood out for me. I don't know if I don't know quite how to discuss this. This is a little different with Zoom. Normally we'd just be a little more informal about it, but but I had one candidate that did stand out for me.
Commissioner Stady, any questions, comments?
Yeah, it's a very difficult decision. Bernie, again, thank you. Yeah, it goes without saying. Your group did a very fine job. I would openly endorse your group, by the way. If you need any kind of recommendation from myself or our commissioners, you got it. You did a great job. You really did. No, you really did. Pleasure working with you. Tough to make a decision, and I don't like that. Each one had their own particular skill set and abilities that I thought made them very worthy of the job. One has a lot more like longtime municipal experience. One, and I have to be careful what you say and what you can't say, the words you can use and not use. Let's say one is, one struck me as a little bit more innovative, and one had, I think, a stronger financial resume, I thought. So honestly, I could work with any one of the three. I really could. Any one of the three. Might be a matter of negotiating a salary or working with, who's available, how soon, how fast. I wish I could say I'd love to have a commitment more than a year, because I'd like to have somebody in place here to work with us, over the next several years. But again, we can't do that. We can only offer a 1-year deal. So we can't really, ask that of anybody. It's not fair. But that's where I'm at.
Okay. First, as far as that comment about, negotiating, that's why I'm going to leave Bernie in the loop with Michelle, because based on our recent hiring of a county surveyor, or about to hire a county surveyor, there was some negotiation back and forth, and I anticipate there will be here. So on advice of professionals like Bernie, I wanted he and Michelle to handle the first part, but after we named a candidate. I agree. I could work with all three. We don't have that luxury. As I was doing the interviews and thinking about it, certain things spoke out, but one thing that spoke out for one of the candidates in my mind was budget experience in the public sector, because today's a great day for us, because we're meeting with our advisory board at 7 p.m. tonight, and guess what the subject is? The subject that's been going on, you don't have to tell Michelle this, since February 1st is the budget. We're enslaved to our budget, as every city and town is, and the nuances of it, and it's a big task. So it stood out for me with one of the candidates. Not that it wasn't exhibited in all of them, but one I thought had superior experience in the budget category. So having replaced the superintendent this quarter, hired a county surveyor in about 10 minutes when this portion is over, next on the calendar, and filled this very important position. We did a lot of human resource work this first quarter, and again, Bernie's group did a great job, and Michelle does a great job on this, but this is very important to us, and we're gonna have a new budget, we're gonna have a best practice study, and we're gonna have a new county director. Just three top things that we've got to accomplish this first quarter, so I'd like to bring it to a head today if possible. But I thought it was an enriching experience, and I'm glad we approached it in the manner that we did. And commissioners should be congratulated, because when Commissioner Stady brought it up in January, there was no back and forth. We all thought it was a good idea, and I think it's proved out to be a good idea. But we're 90% there, and then there's some little give and take on negotiations. Time to come to work.
I think that all the candidates, though, I want to stress, and I think we all would agree, they all should be commended. They're all very qualified. They're all fine individuals. And whoever two, you can only pick one, whatever two do not get selected, I would think they want to not get too discouraged and look for other opportunities. Heck, I was thinking way outside the box. This is way outside the box. But we have that crazy old American Rescue Plan. And if we decide to keep the money, maybe we hire one of them as an administrator or overseeing the program, or I don't know, something like that. I don't know. I know I always say crazy things. Maybe Peter's probably shaking his head saying, no, what is Stady saying? But I mean, there's maybe an opportunity to also help in that regard, if we go that way. And again, with Chairman Shea's latest comment, maybe we're not going that way. I understand. It's a moving thing. It's volatile, as you say, Joe. It's volatile. But I've come to appreciate the fact, as a new commissioner, that a significant amount of our time is wrapped up with the budget. It's money, it's the budget. And you need someone who can really crunch those numbers and, put it together. So.
Well, either way, we're going to get another new set of eyes, and I think that's good. But as to your comment about, not promising anything else, maybe I'm taking what little experience I've had with Bernie, maybe I'm learning through this process. You do find people through this process for other things. And you say, I interviewed a guy last year and he was really good for something else, et cetera. So I'm not above thinking about that, because we still can't get a handle on how much administration is going to be. Go along with taking this money, or even a pass through. There's a lot of administration. But that's a good comment. I wouldn't be worried about it. I just, we can't make any promises though.
No.
Okay.
So who's the fella?
Well, I'll make a motion that we, that I suppose we can't actually hire somebody until it goes through negotiations.
Right.
So I would make a motion that candidate John Cronin be contacted to discuss negotiations for hiring.
I'll second.
Okay. A motion's made and seconded to enter negotiations with John Cronin for the position of Norfolk County Director, and to instruct Acting Director Michelle Labadini and our consultant Bernie Lynch from Paradigm Associates to begin negotiations ASAP. I'm going to take a roll call vote.
Ironic, this is really, I think, a great testament to our board and to our transparency. I had no conversation with Peter whatsoever. And when I evaluated the resumes and I looked carefully and I listened to the interviews again last night, I did. Michelle, I got my computer working, so I got it working again. He was strong in the area that I think at this particular time we need. Thank you, Peter, and I would second that motion. I would.
Okay, I'm going to take a roll call vote, and then we'll go to the next level. And again, this is a big week. Commissioner Collins.
Yes.
Commissioner Stady.
Yes.
And I'm going to vote yes to offer this position to John Cronin and enter into negotiations as soon as possible with an eye towards getting this resolved in the coming, as quickly as possible, but we know everyone has obligations here. Okay,
Mr. Chairman,
thank you. Yes, Bernie.
just in terms of process, Michelle and I will work together on this, and I'll reach out to all of the candidates to let them
Okay,
know.
I'm sorry. I meant, I've got a note to say
Nope.
that. And
All right. And in terms of bringing this back to the commission, to you, what would be the time frame for doing that if we are able?
well, I'm gonna, we're gonna tell Michelle what we think is
Okay.
the ceiling, and
Yep.
we meet every Wednesday. I don't know that it needs a meeting of its own, but, you know,
Okay.
hopefully, as long as we know 48 hours before, I will list it on the agenda.
Yeah. And
The
this is
very
something.
next meeting. And if it has to be quicker than that, we can accommodate it, but we need a 48-hour notice.
Right, and this is something that can be done, the negotiation of a contract, well, we don't have a negotiation of contract, the negotiation of this. Well, that's an interesting question. I'll look into that, see whether this can be
Okay.
done in executive session, but, okay. But hopefully we can get this wrapped up quickly. Great.
And Bernie, thank you for all that you did, and please express to the other finalists how, what high regard we had for each of them. We really did.
I will do that. I'll do that immediately. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And-
I'll be in
and
touch.
we-
Michelle. I'll be in touch.
And if things move smoothly, maybe we can even vote on it next Wednesday.
Yeah, hopefully that can be done. Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you. This concludes the matter of Norfolk County Director candidates for today. Number 15.
Yep.
We have a request to rent the Registry of Deeds parking lot in the month of June 2021. Briefly, Michelle, remind me what group this is?
Yes, so just briefly, John McGowan, Sheila, Carol, Bill, and I had a conference call regarding the Julia Child's filming on Marsh Street in Dedham on June 2nd. It'll be all day. The filming company would like to use the rear corner of the Registry of Deeds parking lot to park 6 or 7 trucks entering the lot on June 1st and exiting on June 2nd. They do have June 3rd reserved as an inclement weather date, but they don't believe they'll need to use that depending on the weather, of course. The TV show Julia is about Julia Childs and her life and career with WGBH. And I did have correspondence with Registrar O'Donnell in this regard, and he is in agreement with the use of the Registry of Deeds parking lot. In the past, I believe there was a contract when we had renters and we charged for the parking spaces. I believe it was $1,500 to $2,000 per day. So I just wanted to talk to the commissioners about if my recollection is correct. And I need to get back to the company about how much we're going to charge a day. They will draft up the contract and they'll give us the insurance waiver for that day for those vehicles.
Okay, so you need permission from us and then you can negotiate that, because this is June 6 or 7, so
It's
we.
in a few weeks. Yep.
Commissioners, your thoughts? We've done this before, sometimes
Yeah.
for longer than 2 days, but I mean, if the register doesn't have any objections, I think we're okay here, but any comments or suggestions?
Yeah, we've done it in the past. I'm all for it.
Registry's getting to be quite the movie place, huh? The movie site. Can we get a walk-on pot this time, or? I can't cook though. I can cook a hamburger. That's about it. But no, I'm fine. I'm fine with it. I'm good.
Okay, all in favor of renting our Registry of Deed parking lot to a film corporation for a couple days in June? All in favor?
Fine.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're gonna contact them, Michelle. One more important, and they're all important, but number 17, county surveyor position update. Before I turn this to Michelle, a week ago from last Friday, we interviewed candidates to be the county surveyor and or engineer, and we got 2 land surveyors that we interviewed. Again, we use the same system that we just went through with the county director. It was Michelle and I and Mike Jordan from the engineering department, and we conducted some lengthy interviews. We've come down to a person that we offered the job to, and based on last week's information, we assigned Michelle to negotiate with that person. So why don't you give us an update on the county surveyor position?
So I'm very excited to share with you that Patrick Higgins, who is a former Norfolk County employee, accepted the position as the Norfolk County surveyor. And his start date is identified as June 21st. So we're very excited about that. He knows the department, he knows the employees over there. He has great references. And I couldn't share this earlier because he had still not given notice to his current employer, which he has now done. So I just wanted to update you on that, and we can move forward.
Okay, any
Sure.
comments? It's Patrick Higgins, a former employee, and when he left us in 14 or 15, he went to a promotion to the city of Newton, and he's looking to come back as the supervisor in that department and department head. But I'd like a motion to appoint Patrick Higgins, and we can go get ready for June 21st.
I'd like to make that motion, Mr. Chairman, to appoint Patrick Higgins to the position of county surveyor position. No, it's
Second.
county surveyor. What would be the effective date? What's the effective date on that?
June 21st.
Okay, effective June 21. Welcome back, Patrick. That'd be great. So moved.
Thank you. Okay, all in favor of appointing Patrick Higgins?
Aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. Okay, we're having quite a personnel day today.
Nice job, Michelle, by the way. Good job on that. Thank you.
A little hello out to Mike Dennehy from Milton, who's a frequent flyer with us, and of course, town manager, and he does a great job. And we'll be visiting with Joe Ridden and the rest of the advisory board tonight. So the town of Milton is always well served here with us. Number 18, request for transfer of funds within the fiscal year 21 Wallison recreational budget for approval. Michelle, just,
I don't have anything on that. I'm sorry.
I have it, Mr. Chairman, if you want.
Oh, thank you.
I have it. It's
Okay,
from-
good.
It was from Carlton Minor. I came in late, but he had requested that we execute the following transfer from code 001-200-5221-000000 to account number 001-200-5490-000000 in the amount of $5,000. And he put in parentheses for bank charges.
and this is from available funds,
That's
this
right.
year's money.
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Collins, any comment?
And I know and bank charges are the credit card charges that we have to pay for when people use a credit card. So I'll second the motion.
Yeah, it was, I think there was a code problem or something, but yeah, that's the motion. Yes, sir. Yep, that's the motion.
Okay, motion made and seconded to transfer $5,000 within the fiscal year 21 Wallison recreational budget from available money. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Moving right along, if I missed something on the first page, I don't think I did.
No,
I'm trying to keep us in good stead here because the staff has got to get down to the agricultural school to set the hall up for tonight's meeting, a little dry run. Number 19, fiscal 22 Norfolk County operating budget for approval. Let me tell you why I did include this on this budget, this meeting, although we're going to the board, the advisory board tonight, this living, breathing document that I refer to a little too much, I think, is always changing. And there were a couple of recent changes suggested by one of the members of the advisory board, Eric Dickerman of Avon. There was also a couple of changes that were explained to us last week from the school, and they are incorporated into this document, which is the latest and greatest, dated 5/13. So I think we need a vote approving it and sending it out to them. It's still a draft because the advisory board has certain authorities to make changes to this budget if necessary. So I think in order to keep everything on on an even keel here, so we're in all in sync for tonight. I'd like to take a final vote of the commissioners that this is you can throw away all your old budgets, and this is the one that we have sent out and going to be working with tonight. Anything you'd like to add to that, Michelle?
Yes, if you wouldn't mind, I'll just be brief. By following the finance committee's suggestion, we were able to remove 58,500 in the capital projects line and replace 58,400 in the operating lines, which resulted in a positive $100 variance. Through discussions with departments, we restored prior budget reductions and increased line items where necessary. These decisions were informed by department heads. The reinstated funds in areas like group insurance, building and grounds, liability insurance, and legal fees speak to the needs voiced by department heads, which we wish to fund outright, and in many cases had to cut in the previous budget interactions. As we review FTEs, each position must be considered an additional 20 to 30,000. So we cannot simply make, for example, 50,000 in budget reduction and apply that directly to an FTE, because as noted, each position requires a considerable amount of additional funding in addition to the code 100 permanent salary line item. So I just wanted to explain that to everybody on what was changed and why we made the decisions to put the money in those line items. We did cut them to make the budget balance previously, and we just wanted to restore that as we look into the future. We have some legal things on our agenda that are going to require some funding in that line item. So we just wanted to prepare for FY22. I hope that makes sense.
It does.
Thank you.
Questions, comments, commissioners?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Sure.
I thought we were putting money into the stabilization fund as a rainy day fund. And again, I'll stand corrected if I'm wrong, obviously, but it says here, Group 8 stabilization, and I see 0 in there. Is that a mistake? Or I thought we were putting 500,000 in. No?
We were using 500,000 to balance the budget from FY21.
Okay, but,
Unappropriated balance, I believe.
okay, so,
Yeah.
but this is
I
the
don't know.
budget for next year. We're not putting anything from the budget for next year? For, 22.
We took 500 from FY21 to apply to FY22 unappropriated, but not stabilization.
All right, maybe I'm speaking the wrong language, so
Well,
forgive
how
me.
much is left in stabilization? Is
Right,
that a
I
better way
see.
to ask the
I've
question?
got 0. There's 0 in here.
I can look at that, Commissioner. To be honest with you, I didn't touch that line at all. So, Bill, do you know something about
It's
that?
0 from stabilization, meaning we're not drawing down on
We're not
drop
taking
down.
from that line, yeah.
In stabilization through a supplemental. in
Right.
September.
and we could put, if we had the funds, we could put money in a supplemental into stabilization in September, let's say.
So, okay, but I'm reading it right. Right now,
Right.
currently, the budget I have in front of me, the latest one, it says stabilization, it says 0.
Right, so we're not taking anything out of stabilization to
Okay.
fund the operating budget.
But what's in our budget moving forward then? We have nothing in there, or we have 500,000 in there? Or we have nothing?
You
Which
mean
are-
in the stabilization line?
Yes.
Well, stabilization it's a fund, so the budget is just showing what we're using. Stabilization would come in as a revenue source, so we're not using stabilization.
Well,
So
I
if it-
disagree.
so-
I know, I'm sorry. I'm saying the wrong thing. I'm looking at equipment, structures. Those aren't revenues. Law books, periodicals, those aren't revenues. And then it says.
We're not adding anything to stabilization in this budget. We're not.
Okay, so my question again is, why are we not doing that? Why I thought we always, as a policy, try to tuck away money, or is that something we're gonna do as a supplemental?
Right,
it-
correct. We can do that throughout the year,
Okay, so if our revenues go up, that's something we'd look at and we'd put it in.
in the fall.
Okay, that's all I was asking. All right, because I thought we always had money in stabilization. Okay, all right. And the other thing is, Michelle, I know Mr. Beckerman asked a question again about that maintenance position. Are we finally resolved that? Did he get an answer he wanted, or how do we stand on that?
Commissioner, I believe you were copied on the email response that I sent out this morning.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if you had time to read it, but I did explain it in the email. I haven't talked directly with Mr. Beckerman at this point because it's been a crazy day. But we did what I just explained. We restored the line items that we had taken out to balance the budget. And Mr. McGowan had shared at a previous commissioners meeting that he was fine with filling the senior position for this fiscal budget. And he agreed not to discuss it anymore. So we actually put the money back into his grounds line item that we took away from. So that's what we did. We just replaced what we took out to balance the budget.
Right. Okay.
Does
Thank
that
you.
make sense?
I didn't get a chance to read all of that, but
That's okay.
I know you sent
I
them.
should have sent it last night, but I was thinking more about it and I sent it this morning. So I hope it makes sense. If it doesn't, just please reach out to me and I'll
Okay.
clarify things.
Thank you very much.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Mr. Chairman.
So was that a
Hey.
motion to approve the budget, Dick?
Yes,
Yeah, I
please.
would so move. Yes, sir.
Okay, second.
All in favor? Aye, to
Aye.
hold the budget.
If I can jump in for 1 second. So I said this to everybody earlier, Dick. With COVID, my kids didn't make the bus, so I got to go pick them up. So I'm going to sign off on my screen right now, but I'm going to pick it up on the phone.
Okay.
And so as I'm driving, I'll be part of the meeting.
Okay,
Okay.
we have one other item, but we'll.
Go
you
ahead.
can
Yeah,
hear it.
I'll
I
catch
think
that
we
up. I'll catch that in a minute.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Hey, do your thing.
Okay,
Yeah, be careful.
okay.
We don't have much left anyways, do we? Chairman?
Right.
We have an interim, we have the county director's update and emergency items, but I believe we also have the motion on the vacation carryover.
Oh, that's right. Yes, sir.
Commissioner Stady, did you?
That's right.
We
That is
had it,
correct.
we
Yes.
had it typed up. I have a copy of it here.
Yes.
I'd like to bring it to a head, but why don't we, I'm not sure where it is on the agenda. That's all. I'm just looking
Okay.
for it.
It's other items that weren't,
Okay, it's carried over from last week, so it's
Yeah.
probably old business. All right,
Right.
under old business, and this is my fault. Last week and for several other weeks, we've been talking about this issue of vacation carryover for certain, well, for all employees actually, but it impacts certain department heads and supervisors more than others, but it's for everyone. On April 21 of this year, we adopted a policy and we've been receiving a number of requests based on exceptions and different things versus past practice and emergency things. So in an effort to get some of this vacation used up last week at the meeting, and I want Commissioner Stady to correct me if I'm wrong, a motion was suggested and we decided to carry it over to today till we digested a little. The motion was move that we grant vacation carryover for the non-union employees, be granted carryover vacation days from fiscal 21 to fiscal 22. The employee must use 10 days of said vacation time within the first 6 months of fiscal year 22 and use an additional 10 days within the following 6 months of fiscal 22. The minimum amount of days an employee must use in a 12-month period is 20 days. If the days are not used by the time frame outlined in this motion, these days shall be forfeited.
Keep
How does that- How does that sound, Commissioner Stady and Commissioner Collins?
Sounds fine.
Again, with the warning and the caveat from Michelle, which she put in writing back in April that, you know, as the deeper we get into the year, the harder it is to administer this.
Right. I
And,
want to act on it, Mr. Chairman, and I'm not trying to be contrary. Over
I
the
know.
week, I got input from all sorts of other people.
I'm sure you did. I've been getting it all along.
No. And I'm
I
not
know,
afraid of
no,
making-
it's good.
No, but it was
But-
interesting. I wonder, I'm going to just throw it out there. I'm going to throw it out there. I'm wondering, and I'm trying to be fair, but I'm wondering if 20 is enough, if we should change it to 15 and 10 to make it a total of 25. Does that put us in a better position? Or do you want to leave well enough alone? That's all I'm going to say. That's all. I got some comments from people saying that there's we could be running into a fiscal problem and there's a huge amount and responsibility and all that. So maybe I hadn't gone far enough. Maybe I have. I thought I had done a reasonable compromise, but I'm open.
So you're
to
saying
discussion.
change the 10 to 15 and the second 10 to
No, so just
Go
put,
ahead.
front end it as a 10 on the first top. And, I'm sorry, change that 10 to 15 and leave that 10 at this, as it is. Total 25. That more or less gives them, they're not hurt by that, I don't think, because most of them will be carrying that amount over. And it puts this county perhaps financially, at least in a little better footing, perhaps a little bit. Actually, we got people with 50, 60, 70 days. It's, some of them, it's amazing. I looked at that, so,
Right, and new vacation days are accrued in July,
right, yes.
which is, I mean, that's
Right.
historic. I don't want to.
Right. And I'm, like I said, I'm sympathetic with the COVID. I get it. But we also, where money is tight, I thought maybe, I'm amending my own motion, if you will, Mr. Chairman.
It's all right.
I'm
As
saying,
long
you
as
know,
we can come up with something that's got to be promulgated for everyone, and then let's start pecking away at it. It's always a subject. that
yeah,
comes-
yeah. So I would move, unless Peter wants to chime in. I know Peter's on the phone, unless he wants to chime in on that. Up to Pete. My thought was just to change it.
Dick, before it was it 10? No, it was before it was 10, and then you're going to add 15 or add 20. What was the first one?
No, they got to
Add
use
5.
10. It was 10 and 10, Peter. They got to burn 10 and then burn another 10. And all I'm saying is, let's just change one of those 10, just one to 15. No, I don't want to do 15 and 15. I want to do 15 and 10, total 25. 25. So they got to change, they got to burn off 25 in the next year.
All right. What I'd like to hear from Michelle on that. What are your thoughts on that,
I
Michelle?
think it's a great idea. I think a lot of people have time. You have someone with 40-something days, and then July 1st, they get an additional 25. This really holds them to at least use some of their time before the end of before the next fiscal year starts. So I think it's smart, because not everyone's going to have to burn 15, because not everyone's going to be carrying over 25 days. So it's a nice balance for everybody.
All right, I'll second the motion.
Okay, thank you. So the motion
On the
would be.
motion, any more discussion?
Nope. You got the motion, Mr. Chairman?
A
So
motion.
the motion is 10 and 15, right?
No, 15 and 10.
15 and 10.
Okay.
It's the same result, but 15
Yeah.
up front and the 10, the second portion, the 22.
So I
Okay.
move we grant the vacation carryover for non-union employees be granted the carryover vacation days from fiscal 21 into fiscal 22. The employee must use 15 days of said vacation time within the first 6 months of fiscal 22 and use an additional 10 days within the following 6 months of fiscal 22. The minimum amount of days the employee must use in a 12-month period would now be 25 days. If the days are not used by the time frame outlined in this motion, said days will be forfeited.
I understand it. All right, I'm going to ask for vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Nice
It
job,
is
Dick.
It
Thank
is
you, Peter.
adopted.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, one more item, I believe, and
Yeah.
then anything you want to discuss. Number 20, interim county director update.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. So I know it's been a long meeting, so I just have one update I wanted to just bring to your attention. Norfolk County retirements. So as you've noticed today, we have seen a couple of those blue sheets come in for retirements. As far as I know, we have 13 retirements coming between now and July 1st, and this is throughout the county. So if anyone is planning on retiring, I urge them to reach out to me, because it is a timely process. But also, I wanted to bring up to the commissioners with these retirements are payouts, and how the county operates is when someone retires and they're paid out, the backfill doesn't come in until that payout is exceeded.
Very
Another
good.
thing I wanted to bring out is a lot of these retirees stay on the health plan, but the person that's backfilling also is on the health plan, which is something that which is the reason why we increased the group insurance on the current FY22 budget, preparing for succession planning, which is something that you don't see looking at the budget. So I just wanted to outline that for you today. And that's all I have for my update. Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to be keeping an particular eye on retirements, because you can't replace these people because of the payout, and they're entitled to their payout.
That's correct.
All right, there's no question about that.
Do you know, if I may, Mr. Chairman, if I may, do you know, Michelle, those retirements we got today from the Aggie school,
Mhm.
they were pretty significant. Was those factored into the budget moving forward, that next year's budget?
They were not,
Okay, so that could be,
which is my point.
yeah, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah, so that number, see what I'm saying? That you talk about, Joe has a great word, I love it, you use the word volatile. It's volatile. So the
Oh,
Aggie
yeah.
budget, no, but the Aggie budget may not be the true budget tonight because of those retirements, right?
The same with the registry.
Yeah, so.
Anyone?
It's across the county. It's not one department. It's across the county.
Okay, all right, I'm just asking. Okay,
Maintenance has a couple come in. I mean,
Yes.
I'm not sure that, and I may suggest it to them, but I've been trying to let them do it, the Abrahams Group, and I don't know if they've studied this part because I know other cities and towns have faced the same issue, and they try to get some predictions every year, which is hard to do because some people decide quickly, or their circumstances change. I mean, we can't hold them to it, but it'd be nice to plan for it, to lighten the burden. But you got to put something in the budget.
you know, actually, Michelle, just for kicks and giggles, I know in my town, again, not that it's perfect, but you have to give your notice by January 1 if you're gonna retire. And they do that so that they can plan the budget in a better way moving forward. Even though the town meeting's in the spring, you know that. So if a person wants to retire, they have to turn their letter in like around Christmas time or holiday time. They can't do it like a week before. I mean, maybe we need to look at when people can retire. I mean, it's just, it would help, wouldn't you think, for budget?
Definitely. I know the city of Quincy has some sort of forecasting, and the department head is asked to find out, take
Yeah.
a poll and get it in writing,
Yeah.
who you think or who's gonna retire.
We might, Joe, may not be a bad thing to put in our tick list for moving forward, to look about those kind of things, you know?
well,
Correct.
Because I'm amazed, every week we get this notice of retirement and hiring, and it's a constant flow, you know, so makes it interesting. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
as we're looking at updating the employee handbook, that might be something that we put in the handbook.
Yeah,
The school does a really good job. They require that the employees let them know a year in advance when they're
Right.
retiring.
right.
So,
Now, like
so-
Tammy Quinn, our superintendent, she told us, and that
Right.
was in the fall, right?
right.
Right.
Kind
We
of
need to
plan.
do that.
But these others, I mean, and I have nothing against them. I'm just saying as a policy, again, to make better planning, we should have a cutoff time, just a cutoff. If you're gonna retire, fine, let us know, please. Then we can plan that into our budget, you know? So,
Commissioner Stady, I'm not confident that the 13 are all that we have coming our way. I'm not
Wow.
sure. And I can't sit here today and say to you that these are all we're gonna have by June 30th. I'm not sure.
well, I guess that means we will be meeting in the summer. We're gonna have to need the meeting. Does the
Where, on
commission,
Cape Cod?
that could be remote. You might see an ocean in the background, but, all right. All right, thank you.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
Mr. Chairman, by the way, I will be in attendance, but I will be for a couple of personal reasons, be doing it remote. I won't
Yeah.
be at the meeting tonight, but I'll be remote,
We'll all be there. That's good.
but I'll be there.
Okay, anything else not anticipated that we need to discuss? Again, we're packing up to go down to Aggie and get started,
Okay.
particularly Bill and Michelle. I've got to make a few calls, but. Okay, I have a
right.
motion to adjourn.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
This
Second.
meeting is adjourned at 2:15 PM. Thank you very much.
Good job, everybody.
Thank you.
Take
See you
care.
tonight.
Bye, everybody. See you, Michelle.
Bye.